So we are back again with another tutorial here on my channel with Rust. So last time we checked out the one called tuple, and we can see in the playground that we did play around with different kind of ways to put value into tuples, and we discovered that tuples had the same properties as they did in Python. At least that's what we learned so far. All right, so next one here is going to be array, and arrays are probably around the same thing as other languages. So an array declaration allocates sequential memory blocks. Great. The static means that the array, once initialized, cannot be resized. All right, so that's a different thing. In many languages, you can resize an array, and you can probably also do it in Rust, but you would need to copy the values over and do different kind of things. That is also the way they create this, what you call it, way in Java that it seems like you can, blow things up, just keep pouring values into an array, but it's actually an object. It's an abstract data type. So declaring and initializing arrays in Rust is basically the same thing. One more time. We can do the same thing as we can with the tuple, but arrays are not mutable. So, sorry, they are, you can change the values. I'm a bit tired today, sorry for that. So what we're going to do is basically go back to our playground here, and we're going to go ahead and let a variable called b equal it to something and put 1, 2, 3 inside of it. Then we're going to go ahead and say print line, just like we learned before. And then I'm going to go ahead and print something out here. It's just a b0. Let's see if this works. And we should definitely get the value of 1. Now we can go inside of here and say, okay, so I want to print the same value out one more time. I want to take b0 and equal to 10. Run it, and you will see that you cannot assign because the variable was not created as mutable, so you need to make it a mutable value, just like that, and then you can actually change it. So it's a common thing throughout Rust. You're gonna see that if you do not put mod or mute in front of the declaration of the variable, it is immutable, and all variables are just bound to the values they are. We can also go ahead and say data type and size, and we can also do data type size and then default value for elements and size. So that would look something like this, I guess, in the tutorial. It's a simple array. I'm gonna create an array here, say like it's an integer value, and the size 4. So basically you say, well, it's 4 values. It's a pretty good way if you just say like, but I need so many values of this kind of type. That's great. And then you put it out to the screen, and basically, these kind of declaration here, this is just syntax. You are putting in the value of -1 on this position and 4 on the other position, and then you're gonna see, oh sorry, it's not a comma, it's a semicolon. So you say like you fill out all the spots with minus ones, and you can see that down here. So it's being produced over all the different kind of indexes inside the array. That's great, right? And for loops, you basically just say for something. You can also definitely go in and say array.length. I'm pretty sure you can do that. So let's go in here and say, let's remove all this there and say for val, and the syntax would be in and then 0 dot dot. So in 0 dot dot be length. Would it actually go for that? It's the not Python, sorry. Let's try, and then print out the value. Now let's see if this is gonna work. So it did not work. So, and that is of course because we say this doesn't work that way. Let's see if we can actually, yeah, it needs an iterator for walking through the array. It's kind of the same thing as in Java. So you're gonna go back here and say we cannot do this 0 to that. So we do b. What happens if we just do length, by the way? It doesn't work. So okay, we're gonna say iter instead. Iterator is the iter, just like that. And then we're walking through it all. It kind of says variable does not need to be mutable. Yeah, okay, so it's um the compiler is really, giving us all the different kind of error messages saying, hey, listen, you actually made that mutable, but you don't need it to be mutable. So why you have it, right? So we can just remove it, run it one more time. And then we're going to see now everything is fine and we're good. It did also suggest something we could install here down below. It says warning, bin, playground. So cargo fix. Not really sure exactly what it's going to fix, but pay attention to the error messages. Sometimes they're really useful. And this is also a knock on our heads as developers, because if you have something that does not need to be mutable, you basically have to make sure it's not. That is a universal constant of law in programming. All right, so they also talked about mutable arrays. We kind of already walked through that. And passing arrays as parameters to functions. That's the same thing again. You just say array and give it some sort of length, and then you with the value, and you can basically just put it in just like that. So it's not really that interesting, I guess. It's pretty basic. So you could also just create a for loop. In this particular case, it could be replaced by for I in r dot iter, and you call the method or the function on that particular array, and then it's gonna iterate through it, and that's it really. So passing by reference, so that is the same syntax as we saw before in the function sections. Array declaration as constants. So we see here that we can create an array. So consider the example below. Give it the u size. Is it unsigned? Let's see. So we're giving it the size of 20, it would seem. And then we basically just put it out. So what does it say about this? Is a compiler result an acceptance because the array length must be known. At compile time, the value is n, and would be determined at runtime. In other words, variable cannot be used to define the size of an array. So okay. However, the following program is valid. So we have a valid program right here. So we create a constant size of 20, put in the array, and then that's really it. Nothing crazy going on here. So, all right. So we are beginning to get to the point of ownership and borrowing, which I kind of look forward to because they're two new words I haven't heard before. Usually, when I create something as a first timer in a program, it's usually something with a menu where you can pick a value and interact with something through the console. And that's really what I used to do, because it's a thing where you will use arrays and loops and and control sentence and all different kind of things we already went through, and it's a good way to practice syntax and the oral language composition. So alright, so that's gonna be it for now. Next video is gonna be about ownership, so if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing that. It will be free, of course, to subscribe. And also think about leaving a comment below if you have any questions, of course. I will be trying to do my best to answer whatever question you have. Until next time, I will see you again and have a really nice day.